everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Entropia content. Now today we are flying to the next planet called Next Island, and we also have some good news from our auction sales. Can't believe it, I tuned in, as you can tell from the title. It was help from Queen Bee. Queen Bee was nice enough to purchase our items on the auction, so now we got an extra 80. So we're up to 4,530. If anyone's wondering how much that is, that's $453 US. Because in order to convert it to US, you have to move the decimal point once. Because it's lower by a factor of 10. But anyways, thanks a lot, Queen Bee. Appreciate it. Alright, let's see who joined in. Holy shit, Shelly's here already. Welcome to the show, Shelly. Now, if you're having trouble with Entropia at all, just let me know. I've actually got some tips that I can share for beginners. I'm pretty much at a beginner level with a lot of the stuff I do still, so I can relate to beginners in this game. Now, this game is very expensive to play. That's why I usually try just the beginner stuff. I don't get too crazy into the high end. Now, obviously, if I could deposit millions of dollars into this game, I would definitely go into the high-end stuff, but we'll just do the entry level. That's what I like about all free-to-play games. Usually the entry-level stuff isn't really that different. You compare what you do entry-level here to what you do at advanced, and it's almost identical. The only difference is you spend more. So I'm not really in that big of a rush to spend more. Now, my overall goal in this game was to either unlock the basement in my shop at Camp Crunk or purchase a shop at Next Island, depending which is more feasible at the time. So soon we will see. Alright, let's get flying, and then I'm going to get my vaporizer going. I was figuring I was going to get everything ready, like vaporizer for the show, but I can just do it while I fly in space. Because space isn't really that attentive. Unless we get attacked by pirates, aliens, or asteroids. Well, we wouldn't really get attacked by asteroids, we'd just fly into them. Which, that's how I ended up on this space station. If anyone's wondering, I got destroyed because I wasn't paying attention. I flew into that cube, which I promised I wouldn't fly into, so I did fly into it, fucked myself over. Not in a good way. Now, recently I've been going through a little bit of stressful times on Facebook. I started to realize, I know when I started sharing my work, I heard a lot of people make complaints about what happens after they share their research. I never really had any issues because most people just ignored it. But now that I'm starting to get people paying attention, I'm starting to get haters and people copying my work, making false memes about it and spreading it. It is quite annoying. I was kind of surprised, more annoying than I thought. And really, the meme that they made wasn't even really that bad. They basically just made a meme, took a picture of my research, and then wrote the exact opposite of what it is. I was like, well, that's kind of annoying. But the other hand, I should have thought about it and said, hey, at least it creates a conversation starter, right? A lot of times no one converses at all about my work because everyone just agrees. So this was the first time I actually had an opportunity to debate with people about it. So I really shouldn't have got that pissed about it. I don't know, I find lately I've just been on edge. I think it's the whole lockdown shit. Losing all your human rights tends to put anyone on edge, I think. Now, so if anyone's going through stressful times, try to remember I think everyone's in the same boat right now. Unless you're Amazon, you're making billions of dollars. Well, who knows? Even he might be stressed out. Oh, who knows? Jeff Bezos isn't even really fully in charge anymore, right? Can't be blaming him. Holy shit, I got half a beer left. I shouldn't really be drinking beer this early in the morning. Well, it's still dark outside, so technically I can call it last night. No, it's only half a beer. I only feel like half an alcoholic. Oh god, yeah, booze is dangerous. It doesn't take much before you start to get addicted to it. Alright, there we go. We're on our way. No, I think I'm really going to try not to focus on arguing with people on social media, especially non-progressive or not progressive, productive, non-productive conversations. Like I noticed a lot of these conversations I've been having over the last couple days, I've just been getting argumentative and not creating anything good coming from it. So like if nothing good's coming from it, might as well move on. Now, I was actually going to get the guy on my show and podcast, and some of the viewers here have been warning me, make sure you actually screen your guests better. Could end up getting some real weirdos on. And at first I was thinking, oh, I don't really mind weird people coming on, but when someone's coming on and they're sharing a lot of misinformation, just like blatant lies, I really don't want to be spreading that kind of stuff. I shouldn't say he's spreading blatant lies. If I had to guess, I think he honestly believes what he's saying, even though it's factually incorrect. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, calling my research ley lines, it is tempting, because it looks a lot like ley lines. But shooting stars look a lot like spaghetti, and we don't, like, call them the same thing, right? So... no, so just had to clarify it on his page. I don't know if he's going to continue sharing that meme. If he does, well, I'll just have to debate it each case. Well, I won't debate it each case. What I'll do is probably just ignore them, and we'll see if anyone else deciphers if it is or not. Let people make up their own minds. Now, so what do we got going on in Entropia? I noticed some people have been posting some pretty good streams in the stream section on the Entropia Reddit page. Make sure everyone check that out. Now, Bonnie, I don't know if she took a break from streaming, but I didn't see any streams posted in a while. I was thinking she is kind of overdue for a break. I know I took a little break from streaming Entropia because I started to know I was doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Now, I've reached a point in my life that I really don't want to spend all day just collecting sweat unless I have like a fun group of people to sweat with. Sweating alone is kind of boring. Yeah, so now I guess I will be more careful with who I get on my Ancient Mystery show, but when it comes to the video game stuff, I don't mind if people come on and spread lies. Or things they believe to be true. No, the only thing I was a little bit skeptical of that guy when he started talking was he started saying that there was no shafts in the pyramid. I was like, dear God, man, what the hell are you talking about? Like, there's lots of shafts in the pyramid. They do shows about them on TV all the time. And then he's starting to say, like, anything that History Channel puts on TV is a lie. I was like, what are you talking about, man? My family works for History Channel. I know they're not fucking lying. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then when I ask him to show some evidence to back up his claims, he tells me to Google it. I'm like, Google it? What the fuck does that mean? It's like you can Google something and each person will get different results because Google custom generates search results. And it's not like Google is the all fucking knowing source for shit. There's lots of stuff that's true that's not on Google. There's lots of bullshit on Google. So just telling someone to Google something, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I didn't want to start swearing at him right away, but I was like, man, you're spouting nonsense at this point. Like, you're saying, oh, I got all this amazing evidence that all this stuff that's well established isn't true. I'm like, all right, what's the evidence? Google it. I'm like, Google it? What the fuck? It's like I Google it and there's thousands of pages saying that it is true. There's not one page on here that verifies anything you're saying. I don't know if he realizes it or he's actually saying it and believes it. I don't know. Very weird. But hey, everyone's not here to be the same. Some people are weird. There's nothing really wrong with that. I know he was posting a lot about how people that don't read books aren't intelligent or something. I was like, whatever. As soon as he started saying that shit too, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I know to some degree people might actually believe that people that don't read books aren't intelligent, but other people like look it up and they're like, holy shit, there's lots of people that can't read that are intelligent. Like everyone with dyslexia and all that shit. There's a lot of intelligent people that can't read. Like, fuck, man, I can't even read music. So does that make me fucking stupid? Maybe. I'm just kidding. No, I'm stupid for other reasons. That's why I always like it. When people make fun of dumb people, I'm like, yeah, I'll stick up for the dumb people. Go team dumb. Our stupidity will outnumber anyone. We'll win in sheer numbers. Now, I don't think the world really is cut out for exclusively to belong to smart people. When people start saying that dumb people should have no rights and all this, I'm like, fuck that shit. Dumb people have rights as much as anyone else. Fuck that shit. Smart people think they can just take over the world. Now, some people call me smart. I'm like, me smart? Like, you gotta be kidding. It's like, sometimes I gather some information, but even the information I gather, it's like I'm always learning new stuff. I'm not claiming that I have the all information. No, and I noticed about my research is it evolves. Like every year I have new ideas, and I usually flip-flop on a lot of ideas too, so I try never to get too ingrained in something. Because I know it's only a matter of time before you learn otherwise. I know some facts are facts, obviously, but when it comes to like theories, try not to cling to them. Fuck, just about every theory I've ever had has been proved wrong at one point, so when I have another theory, I'm definitely not thinking, oh, it's the be-all, end-all. Yeah, who knows? Maybe in a while I can cool down and converse with that guy again, but that was weird. Oh yeah, and the other thing that was really weird, have you ever had a conversation with someone online and they start ordering you? Like telling you how to respond, telling you how you're allowed to speak to them? I was like, excuse me. It's like I'm my own sentient being. It's like I can just type whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to listen to your instructions about how I should type and how I should respond to you. It's like I can respond whatever. Yeah, that was the thing. He's like, you keep making examples that have nothing to do with the conversation. I'm like, well, I'm making examples, and I can make examples with anything what the fuck I want. It's like I can talk about pink zebras if I want. It's like you're not in control of how I'm responding to you in a conversation. It's kind of weird. I don't know. For me, I'm like a really anti-control person. So as soon as someone starts telling me what to do, I'm like, whose authority do you have to tell me what to do? It's like I don't acknowledge your authority over me in any way. It's like, fuck that shit. No, so I don't know. I like definitely did not respond well to how the conversation was going. Now, that's why some people always say, oh, you're so great, you get along with everyone. No, there's definitely people I don't get along with. Definitely. Now, I try to be reasonable to a certain point, but I can draw a line just like anyone else. That line may be a bit further, but... No, and I'm not going to, like, bury my head in the sand. If he's going to be writing comments and shit, I'm definitely going to be looking at them. Maybe occasionally responding, but I won't be spending my whole day doing it. Leave that to him. He can spend all day debunking other people's work or making fun of it while other people create work. It really is the Ahura Mazda philosophy, the winged disc. You can either create or you can destroy. It's really up to you. Some people call it creation, destruction, good and evil, but really is it either? forest fires destroy the fire. Are they evil or just destructive? I don't think the fire really has any intent. It doesn't do it to harm people on purpose. Yeah, that's why you got to kind of watch too. When you encounter different people in life, you start to see people that work for the different forces, right? Some people will say, oh, some people work for good and evil. But I kind of look at it as some people create, others destroy. And some people do make it a balance of both. That really is the best way. That's what the ancients tried to teach everyone. It's always a balance of creation and destruction. If you try to do one or the other too much, it falls out of balance. That's why I like to relax, play video games, instead of working on ancient mystery work all the time. Alright, so let's see, how's this flight to Next Island going? I should really fucking put a map there showing how long it's taking in case I'm not even moving. Holy fuck, yeah, I am flying the wrong way. Idiot. God, will I ever learn? I don't think so. Oh yeah, last night I tried to do a little bit of video editing to get my video ready to premiere today. Oh God, was it hard. I got too much footage. So much editing to do, and I filmed it all wrong. I realized that what I was trying to do was film a scene where I leave to go on the trip, and then when I filmed that, I filmed it in reverse. Instead of leaving, I filmed arriving. So I went to the destination where I was leaving and beginning and filmed arriving instead of leaving. So when I went to go edit it, I'm like, oh fuck, how am I going to edit this? Maybe I could do it in reverse. Play the footage backwards. No, so yeah, if anyone's wondering why the continuity is going to be all fucked, because I accidentally filmed it backwards. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I do so many things backwards in life. That's what was going to happen. When I start doing the filming, I would film the scenes backwards. It's like, oh, I'm filming a scene where I go to leave. So what do? I film arriving. Damn. Now I got a huge fucking medicine bottle just loaded with pot plant seeds. I don't know how many thousands are in there. It's because every year, I don't know what it is, I get feminized seeds, and somehow in nature, some pollen gets into the plant and I get seeds. So, I don't know who keeps pollinating them. Damn bees. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say, queen bee, thanks again. We were just talking about bees. Excuse me. Sorry, that's the beer's fault. I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, so today, I think, I don't know, it kind of tempts me to do some more Orion correlation theory. Because that thing that I was arguing about with that guy, I hadn't even started on the main argument topic. So I was thinking, man, I should get some more evidence for that. No, it was one of his neat talking points, is he thinks that correlation is a fallacy. Like, anytime you correlate one thing to another, it's a mistake. And I was thinking, okay, well, obviously in some cases, if you correlate one thing with another, it's a mistake. But obviously in other cases, you correlate one thing with another and it's not a mistake. I don't know if you could get that concept through to the guy, but no. He's under the assumption that everything correlated is a mistake. So I was thinking, dear God, and like maybe the next video I'll go into how correlation basics works. I'll be like, you know when you see a red stop sign, you kind of correlate the color red with stopping, right? And when you come to a red light at an intersection, does someone have to like tell you to stop? Or do you like correlate the color red with stopping? So obviously you can start to see in life that when you correlate one thing with another, it actually does make sense. Like only a moron would think otherwise. Like what are you going to do? Pull up to a red sign and then think it means go? No, obviously you're going to pull up to a red sign. Even if you couldn't read the language, you'd be like, hey, red sign, I'll correlate that with stopping. Like, I don't know. So it seems like a very basic concept. So that's what I was thinking, like talking to this guy, if you can't even grasp that concept, like how are you really going to have a conversation with him? I know he was talking about having a conversation and what all the rules are for it. I'm like, well, one of the rules I have for a conversation is like making some sense. It's like if you make no sense, then it's like can't really have a conversation at that point. And that's the same thing we were saying. I think he was saying the same thing with mine, is me making examples didn't make any sense. So that is something we agree on. When we try to converse with each other, we really don't make any sense to each other. So it is difficult to have a conversation. Yeah, so we can agree on one thing. Now I was thinking too, it's like if you see fire, don't you like correlate that with hot or like getting burned? It's like if you're trying to tell someone if you saw fire and correlating with hot, then that's a mistake. It's like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure if you correlated hot with fire, then you would actually be correct. Well, yeah, the other thing too is going on that there's lines on maps are useless. I was like, have you heard of the equator? Have you heard of like the Arctic Circle? It's like there's fucking lots of lines on maps that are fucking useful. Like what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, oh, no one's ever used lines on maps for anything tangible. I'm like, we use them for navigation all the time. It's like you fly somewhere, you use a ship, you use the straight lines on a fucking map to navigate. This is the very basic principles of like tangible navigation. It's like if you want to navigate somewhere, you need a map with a line on it. I don't know. So you couldn't grasp that concept either. I was like, okay. If you can't grasp how the equator works, it's like, I don't understand. I shouldn't be making fun of people that can't grasp ideas. Because really, there's a lot of ideas that have been taking me a lifetime to grasp, and I still haven't approached it. I don't know, these just seem like basic concepts, so I was like, holy God, if you can't grasp these things, then yeah, I can see where we're having trouble communicating. Holy fuck, man. We still got like another half hour to arrive at this planet. Dear God, this is taking forever. I forgot that we were only about halfway there. No, this is probably going to be more like an hour. Fuck. By the time we arrive there. Oh, well. Yeah, it's good to be able to vent a little bit. Because I swear, if I typed all this on Facebook, I'd get my messages banned for sure. I should have realized that too. Before, when I was talking to him in a conversation, sometimes I'll break up my points in paragraphs. You know, like when you draw or write a paragraph, you put all your points in one, and then you make a new paragraph when you have new points. So, I don't know, some people get annoyed by this, but when I do Facebook posts, if I have one point, I'll make a giant post about it, and then I'll make a new post as like a new paragraph if it has a new point. So if someone has like an idea and they want a response, sometimes I'll put 2 or 3 points. I'd be like, oh, they're like, this is not true. Do you think it is? And then I'll be like, yes, I think it is. And I'll put point 1, and then I'll put a point 2, and then I'll put a point 3. But yeah, he was getting upset with that already, where he's like, no, you're only allowed to put 1 response per answer, or I'm going to get it removed by Facebook and have it labeled spam. I was like, well, dear God, I didn't realize we had a cap on how many responses we're allowed to make in this conversation. And I'm not talking about a group or anything. I'm just talking about on a normal wall post. Not like a group that has a whole bunch of pre-established rules. It's like you just write a post on someone's wall on Facebook. There's no list of rules to put a post. Well, there is, like, when it comes to, like, graphic shit, but that's just Facebook rules in general. I don't mean just specific to their page. It's not like when you add a friend on Facebook, it comes with terms. So, like, oh, you have to respond with only one one answer per response, or it'll be labeled spam. Yeah, maybe someone does want to do that for their profile. All the power to them. I don't try to control others. I shouldn't say I never try to control others. I catch myself doing it and then realize it's a mistake. Now, it's up to everyone to have their own free will, right? People want to not comprehend stuff and try to control others. It's really up to them. Just don't expect me to bend over and give in to your control. Fuck that. Now, that's why I was talking to people, and everyone's like, you know how some people are like to be told what to do and others don't? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like domination. It's like most men don't like to be dominated. They like to dominate others. That's one of the basic biology facts, right? So when it comes time to like issues like, oh, there's some sort of politician that wants to dominate you, it's generally men that are going to be like, no, we don't feel like being dominated. Sorry. It's like, we'll look after ourselves. We're not going to be dominated by anyone else. Fuck that. And then in a lot of cases, women are like, oh, we don't really mind being dominated so much. We can give in to that. And it's like, no, most guys are like, fuck that. So I think it is really just like in our biological nature. So they start wondering why some people are more hesitant. It's because of biology. Most men don't like to be told what to do. And then there's always rare exceptions. Like if you have to get money for a job, well, then obviously you're going to make one exception where someone can dominate you and tell you what to do. But that's a very slim exception. So yeah, that's where I think the government really is going to have a problem when they try to dominate everyone. They're like, yeah, there's just genetics where people are going to be like, no, I don't give a shit how much power the government wants. I do not want to be completely dominated. Fuck that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, just trust the government. I'm like, we can't even trust them to fucking pave the roads properly. Like, really? You want to trust them with our fucking health? You gotta be shitting me. I know, like, I get it, the government has good intentions, but there's that whole good intention thing, right? We all know where that fucking goes. They don't say the fucking good intentions pave the road to hell for no reason. It's because they do. That's why I actually feel fortunate. A lot of times I don't have good intentions. Thank God. And when I do, I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I doing? Ah, shit. Is this like another place where I'm going to crash in space? No, thank God it's just a space station. Hey, 2 viewers, 2 likes. Thanks everyone for signing in. Now, I noticed protests have been going crazy in Toronto, or not Toronto, Montreal. And I figured Montreal would be the first place to rise up and not want to be dominated. Because actually, Quebec is the one place that I realized when I started traveling in Canada that it is a dramatically different culture. Like, I don't know, like some people say, oh, it's just French and English, not much difference other than how you speak. But no, I noticed French people behave like dramatically different. Like in French places, it was the only time that I was discriminated for what language I was speaking. Like if you come to English parts of Canada, no one will give a shit what language you speak. I think in the old days we'd be like, oh, speak English only. But that died off in like the 80s. But in Quebec, it's pretty much still a thing. So if like you're speaking different languages, people would be like, hey, you're in Quebec, could you speak French? I'd be like, okay. I was kind of shocked at that. And then at one point I was taken back by it. I was thinking of it so mean. But then another way I was like, it is just another culture, right? Like you can't just look at other cultures that do the opposite of you and then say that they're mean and you're good. It's actually just the way some people are, right? Like not every culture is the same. So that's why I was thinking that Quebec and Montreal in general, they wouldn't take it being dominated for so long because they don't even like being dominated via languages. Someone tries to make them speak English, they'll be like, fuck that, we're speaking French. And we'll demand that other people speak French. It's fucked up. That's the one thing when you look at French history. What was it, that one French woman that caused France to survive like some sort of war? And if it wasn't for her, the whole France country may have never occurred. French-speaking people would have never got their own territory or own land. And there was some sort of miracle that made it happen. So I was thinking it almost seemed like French people were destined to play some big role in future events. So that's why every time something happens in France, I usually tend to look at it on the news. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that whole French connection again. Some sort of miracle put that in place to happen. Why? That's why when I look at the creator and his plan, one of the things you can look at is like why things are happening, right? If something is happening in a certain reason, it's like, hey, if it's part of the plan, why? It sort of reveals it. It's like when you see the edge of a puzzle. When you start seeing the edge of the puzzle pieces, you start to gather what the center of the puzzle looks like. So that's what I figure. If we really are in a simulation made by a creator, sure, we can't see the whole puzzle, but we can start to see the edges. And if we see enough of the edges, we can start to gather what's actually going on. But what are the odds of that? It's like being in the Matrix and realizing it. It's almost impossible to do. That's why I think the goal of Freemasonry has been all these years, is they like to do that. They try to see the creator's plan, estimate it, work with it instead of against it, go with the grain. On the level. Yeah, I remember back in the day I used to argue with Freemasons a lot, but I haven't really done that in years. I think what it was is at the beginning I used to argue with Freemasons because I hardly knew anything. And then as I started to know more, and then I started to progress to even what most Freemasons were talking about. So I was like, I kind of just evolved past it. Who knows? Like maybe one day I'll get into good conversations with Freemasons again, but normally I look at Freemasonry at its origins now, and I don't really care about the modern translations. Now, some people in Freemasonry don't even study Albert Pike's books, yet he was the one that wrote all the beginning. So if you're going to ignore him, you might as well just ignore the whole thing. But to each their own. I know the modern Freemasons, they kind of got into the light being stuff more, so it is a lot of woo-woo shit. Even though I talk about light beings all the time, I can't stand this shit. Now, I keep hoping one day that some guy will come out with mirrors and a hologram machine and be like, oh, those light beings you saw. Almost got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Right, so what are we going to do when we arrive on Next Island? I've been trying to think about that. Some people said I should come here and do the big sweat events because they are doing sweat circles. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe I should do that. I am thinking about doing the mining missions, and I am thinking about doing some of the crafting missions. So we really do have quite a variety of stuff to do once we arrive on Next Island. And for the crafting on Next Island, I was thinking, yeah, I want to do some Listerium because that's pretty go-to basics on Next Island. But I'll probably craft some, what do they call those? The plugs? So yeah, don't ask what they're plugging. I'm just joking. I don't know what it is plugging, but it's a wood plug. So you probably wouldn't be using it for anything like that. Alright, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock here. How long's the stream been going? 35 minutes? Yeah, man, this was a long flight to Next Island. I really wish I would have did a lot of this yesterday while I was playing the game. Or not playing the game, watching the game. All my sports teams lost last night, so it was pretty shitty. And I spent the whole day arguing with people on Facebook. I was like, you know, the vibes I got from yesterday was not good vibes. I'm going to try to avoid doing that kind of pattern again. Do more creation today. Focus less on destroying. I've destroyed enough for now. Oh yeah, let's check out some of the other bids we got. Shit, we got a competition for bids for the flags. That is good. That is really rare. So good luck all these people bidding on the flags. Hope you get it. I'm getting horrible heartburn from drinking beer too early in the morning. That was a horrible mistake. Next time I'm just putting the beer in the fridge, saving it for the evening. Dear God, what a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. It's even making me break out in sweats. Idiot. Stimpy, you idiot. Yeah, let's drink some juice. I don't really have any left. I have to sip it. Hopefully it cures my stomach. Man, thank God I didn't do that shot of hard liquor. You know, that's what I should have realized too. Like, you know how people warn you on Facebook? They're like, never start arguing with trolls. Just ignore them. So they can troll all they want, but if you start arguing with them, it just makes them happy and you upset. So it's like, man, next time I see like bullies and trolls on Facebook, I'm just going to be like, you know, as much as I would like to try to explain how the color red is correlated with stopping, or how the equator is actually like a useful line on a map, like I don't understand. Or that shafts exist in the pyramid. I was like, dear God, are you seriously arguing that shafts don't exist in the pyramid? I was like, what next? Is he going to argue that gravity isn't a real theory? Well, I guess a lot of people do argue that. Poor example. Oh well, you know, I was thinking of getting back into my gravity well research, and it is kind of boring, so I was thinking maybe I will just put it off in general for a few more years, get back to it at some point. It's weird too. It's funny how it doesn't take much in life. Like, I had so many people congratulate me, academics writing me, thanking me for my work, saying it's groundbreaking, and all it takes is that one person who fucking annoys the shit out of you to like take all your research and just say, hey, fuck it. So that's why you got to be careful in life. You don't really want to surround yourself with too many naysayers and negative people, because they really can kill all your drive. I know some people might thrive on it, but I don't know. It's like debating intellectuals I find thriving, but debating someone who can't grasp even basic concepts is like, it's not very fucking fruitful. Just annoying. And I was wondering why that Robert Bouval wasn't like challenging this guy on Facebook and like arguing with what he's saying. And then when I started to hear him talk about the shafts not existing in the pyramid, I was like, well, obviously Robert Bouval isn't arguing with this guy, because it's like arguing with someone who believes the earth is flat. There's no real point in it. If they're convinced the earth is flat and they've already looked at all the evidence, well, what's the point in arguing with them? So that's why I was thinking, that's why Robert Bouval is not arguing with this guy. Even basic concepts he's not acknowledging. Now, maybe he was trying to say that some shafts don't exist in the pyramid. And I was like, well, if that's your argument, that's kind of a weird argument because obviously some shafts don't. People could come up with theorized shafts at any moment, and really the only ones that are verified are the ones by Egyptologists that have all recorded it in many of journals. There's tons of journals about the shafts. You can just Google it. There's thousands. Here I'm saying his exact words. Just Google it. No, that's why it's tempting to say just Google it. So instead, I'll actually just Google it and then put the actual results. Not just tell people to just Google it. You can just type in Wikipedia and look up Egyptology. Look up the Great Pyramid. Lists all the shafts. There's lots of them. Oh yeah, and then his other argument too was that the shafts pointing at Orion's belt don't point at Orion's belt because there's millions of stars in the, or billions in the sky, and that they could be pointing at any of them. And I was like, dear God, man, have you even looked at the sky? Do you know how it works? I tried to explain the concept that the stars don't all rotate everywhere in the sky. There's actually some parts of the sky that only certain stars are visible. I don't understand. That concept is beyond him, but it is a very basic concept in how astrology works. There's like a North Star where it's only in the north portion of the sky. You literally can't see it anywhere else. So if there was a shaft pointing to that location, then yes, it actually would be pointing at one star. It wouldn't be pointing at any star in the sky because any star in the sky could not be located there. It's basic astronomy. But I don't know. Try explaining that to him. I know I shouldn't make fun of him because I know it's hard for me to take a lot of concepts too. Some concepts I've been working on for 40 years and I still haven't grasped them. So I shouldn't make fun of that. It just makes it hard to converse. There we go. 10 light years to go. That's what I should call them. I was going to call them AU. Well, let's just call them light years. But it probably wouldn't be light years because it's just a planet. Yeah, so it would have to be AU. Million miles? 10 million miles? Or it would be billion. 10 billion miles. Alright, so if anyone else wants to see some stuff when I arrive on Next Island, you can just put it in the chat. I can show you the main trade area. I can show you the main sweat area. I can show you some of the different time travel that you can do. It's pretty fun. Alright, so for today's filming projects, I think I might just do editing. We'll see what the weather's like. If the weather's nice, maybe I'll charge up my gear and try getting some more intense shots done. Get some 360 footage, get some drone footage. I gotta start traveling so far away to do it. I gotta do some more scenes just at the park behind my house, so I don't have to go back as far to edit. I'll have to try to get my 10,000 steps in. Less biking, more walking today. So one thing I don't like about a step counter is I do so much biking, and it doesn't really count towards it. Because unless I stop and walk, it's just not counting it. It doesn't seem fair. It's like I fucking biked for an hour yesterday, and I didn't get my steps in. Only made half. Fuck. No, I think my arms have almost healed. I'm hoping. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. To think that sawing could hurt that bad. Let's go do some more sawing. Nah, I felt bad yesterday in basketball. I don't know if anyone heard the news, but Canada's best player, one of the MVP candidates in the NBA, he blew out his knee. And it sucked. Might be career ending. We'll see how it heals. Hopefully it heals good. But he was getting caught into that whole victimhood thing, where he did a huge speech where he broke down to tears, blaming all of his problems on the police department, saying that the police should resign and they should get defunded because they're responsible for all the gang violence. I was thinking, dear God, man, this guy actually comes from my hometown where we have like huge gang violence problems in our city. And it's definitely not the police's problem. Like, they're not the ones causing it. So I don't know how he could go on TV and break down to tears and all that victimhood. It was pretty shameful. So I almost kind of seen like this injury coming, because I was like, man, he's got himself into such a negative mindset that he's going to get injured. And then that's what happened. He fucking blew out his knees. So it was like, it was really sad. I really wish that he was more positive and he was like supporting the police. I don't understand where he got this fucking like victimhood mentality from. He probably got it from the media. The NBA preaches it all the time, teaching everyone that the police are to blame. It's like, fucking NBA's got some serious mental problems. I don't know where it comes from. If it's like the top, Adam Stern, that he's got this twisted belief system, or if it's other people in the organization, or it's like a combination. But it's pretty shameful, whatever it is. Like, I've never heard of such a thing. Like, police have always been our heroes in our society for so many years. How people could just turn their backs on the police and start calling them the bad guys. It's fucking shameful. But I guess that's the opposite of how our society works. And there's always going to be bad cops, so one or two bad ones, you can't ruin the whole batch. But I think what it comes down to is really gangs in a lot of cities have made the job of policing so dangerous that the only people that are willing to take chances to do it or have been hired by organized crime to actually go and become a cop. Happens a lot with the triads and different gangs. Sad but true. Yeah, so the people that are critical of the police, yeah, there's going to be some police corruption, but I don't think we should throw the whole police department under the bus for it. Especially since we're paying them to protect us. If we don't have anyone we're paying to protect, why would we turn our back on them? If we're going to do that, might as well hire someone else. Now, I was even really happy to hear that some of the police are starting to stand up for human rights. They're like, hey guys, we're police officers and all, and we're supposed to enforce the laws, but at some point, if the people are demanding that we enforce human rights, it's like the people are the ones paying our salary. And human rights kind of are like a code of ethics that, I don't know, if a cop was to like break ranks and say, hey, I'm going with human rights, it's like, could you really hold it against him? I'd be like, yeah, I think that cop is right if he's saying he's going to enforce human rights. It is kind of like the highest moral authority, right? Yeah, that must be a fuck situation. If you're a cop and you're used to enforcing more like human rights your whole life, and then all of a sudden the government changes a rule and says that no longer do you have to enforce human rights, you'd be like, what the fuck? You changed human rights? It's like, I'd be like really conflicted if I was a cop. That's what I was wondering too. I was thinking about that. In Canada, the way we got around it government-wise was we had our human rights and our like code of ethics for Canada, and you couldn't break them. So what the government did is, last time that there was a virus, what was it called, the SARS one, they decided to draft a law that nullified all human rights in Canada. And they said, oh, don't worry, this law will never be used unless there's a global pandemic. And they're like, look, even SARS didn't cause a global pandemic, so we should never really have to worry about this law actually being used to take all our human rights away. Don't worry, it'll never be used. And then you go fast forward how many years? All of a sudden we got this pandemic, and all of a sudden that law has been used. So it was used to take away our human rights. So they were saying, oh, don't worry, it'll never actually be used. So that's what I was thinking. Like, when the government says, like, let's draft a law to take away human rights, but don't worry, it'll never be used. Don't trust them, because it's only a matter of time, because they drafted that law, that they'll actually try to use it. And maybe not even them. Like, who knows? Maybe one party drafted the law, and then election cycle happens, and then that party changes, and now all of a sudden that law that's in the books is actually allowed to be used because this new party will actually use it. So that's what I was thinking. It's really dangerous. Like, I can't, how did other countries do it? Because I was thinking Toronto and Canada had that SARS outbreak. So that was the excuse. They were able to change all our human rights laws. But I was like, how did other countries do it? Like, if they never had the SARS outbreak all those years ago, how did they all of a sudden change the laws so that you have no human rights? Like, ours was a process where they had to, like, have a previous virus, then change all the laws, and then have the next virus come in the same spot, almost identical to the one that changed all the laws in the first place. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. So I was thinking the UK, they definitely like took away all your human rights. So was there like a new law that was drafted? Or did you just not have human rights to begin with? So they didn't even need to change any laws? Because there really is like a specific law chart of 30 human rights. And all of the ones they're breaking are on there. Like the right to travel, the right to assemble, the right to work. It's all on there. The right to own property, the right to freely speak and be equal. Like in Canada, they're really going hardcore, saying everything's equal and then doing the exact opposite. A lot of people are starting to call them out on it because they go on and on about how everyone's equal and race doesn't matter. And then they're like, oh, here's the medical treatment. Oh, by the way, you need to get in line by race. And if you're in this race, you have to get into the back of the line. I was like, what the fuck? You just said every race was equal. And then now you're saying that if your race is this, you have to get in the back of the line for the medical treatments that we all paid equal amounts for? That is fucked up. Like, Canada should really be ashamed of ourselves the way we're behaving lately with racial segregation. I can't believe Canada's openly racial segregation country and no one's talking about it. They're going on and on how we're saying we're all equal here. The fucking government's like passing laws all the time. Everything they do is racially segregated. It's fucked up. Yes, I don't know, Justin Trudeau, if he knows that they're doing all this racial segregation or he doesn't and it's happening under his watch. Let's hope he doesn't even know. Because, man, I kind of feel bad for him. He's always about treating everyone equal. But then he goes and does racial segregation. It's like, what the fuck? And that's a weird thing because, like, I'm almost okay with doing the racial segregation if all people agreed to it. But I was thinking calling it all equal and then doing segregation, that seems fishy. Shouldn't be saying one thing and then doing the other. That's fucked. Yeah, and I actually have some good news too. Now that everyone in my household has been, what is it called, vaccinated, I shouldn't have to worry about, well, they say that you still have to worry, but I should technically have to worry less if the vaccinations work. So let's hope they do. Because that was one of my main fears about going out of my house, was like I knew my uncle was handicapped and he hadn't had the vaccination yet, so technically he would be in the high risk. So now that he's had it, and like, let's hope that he's okay today. See how he managed. I'm just worried that he's going to get some sort of side effect, but let's hope that doesn't happen. I know there has actually been more recalls that were on the news today. They were talking about how, was it Johnson & Johnson and the other one? Can't remember what the other one's called. A something. Now, I was a little bit suspicious of Johnson & Johnson if we should really trust them, because they're the ones that just got busted in a $1 billion cancer-causing lawsuit. So I was like, holy fuck. When it comes to a drug that could potentially be dangerous, should you be trusting companies that just got busted in a huge scandal that caused cancer? Like, what was it, that talcum powder scandal? I'm pretty sure we're allowed to talk about the talcum powder scandal. It's when Johnson & Johnson got busted, knowingly putting chemicals in their products that cause cancer and then selling them for profits. Then they got busted, had to pay huge lawsuit fees. So I was like, hey, that really doesn't sound like a company I would trust with anything, let alone a medical procedure. I don't know, that's just me. Some people trust them, I'm sure. I know the name Johnson. It's usually a name I trust. And 2 Johnsons seems even more trustworthy. Alright, here we're coming up to the planet. We're 6 away now. How long has the episode been going? Yeah, it's been an hour. So it is like a good 3-hour flight to get from this planet to this planet. Some people are asking me that. If you wanted to get the slow ship that's cheap, that pretty much anyone can afford, even if you don't deposit, how much does it cost to fly from here to here? Like how long, how much does it cost? I think the fuel cost is about 3 Project Entropia dollars to get from one to the other. I could be wrong. I should have checked before I left. The time is about 3 hours, so it'll take you 3 hours to fly from one to the other. And don't worry, it's not the only way. You can hire faster ships to be a taxi, or you can just get a ride in with them for free sometimes. So, but if you're independent and you want your own ship and you want to be able to fly as far as you want across the universe, it takes about 3 hours. How much does the ship cost that I'm flying? Cost about 20. So 20 Project Entropia dollars. A little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how much the market's fluctuating. Oh yeah, how much does the fuel cost? Like I said, like I usually buy like 50 and put it in the tank. I didn't check how much it cost. What was the other question I got? Oh yeah, the thruster. You need a thruster piece to add to the ship and able to fly in space. Because normally the space thrusters it comes with, it only works on land, like on an atmosphere. So if you want to go into space, you have to buy a thruster, and the thruster costs about 10. So it's really half the price of the ship. Yeah, and the thruster, it breaks down every time you use it to go landing on different planets. So you'll have to keep buying more of them. But you can usually get a thruster to last quite a bit. I don't know if anyone knows how many planets it works out to. If I had to guess, maybe what, 10 times? Could be 20, somewhere around there. Maybe 10 or 12. That's what I was thinking. If you used it 10 or 12 times, maybe it breaks. So space travel is a little bit expensive, but when you look at how much you can collect in one day just collecting sweat, you can collect about 9K sweat. If you like sweated non-stop, like 24 hours a day, it's like the most you could get. But obviously most people are going to get like 1K sweat a day, or maybe 3K sweat a day. 3K sweat is like an 8-hour day of sweating. If you're going to spend about 8 hours, yeah, you could do 3K. And then, yeah, that 3K sweat or 10K sweat will sell for 10 or 15 bucks or Project Entropia dollars. Yeah, so if you did sweat, like, let's say 1 week, pretty steady rate, you should have enough to buy this ship. But then you'd have to sweat for another week to buy the oil. Then you'd have to sweat for another week to get the thruster. But you could buy the ship in the first week. So it's like one of those role-playing games. If you're in a real rush, people just deposit money to try to get the ship faster. But if you got time and you're just playing for free, yeah, then you can sweat, do it slow, get the ship for free. You don't have to deposit. Now, some people are pissed about me teaching how to play the game for non-depositing. Don't worry, there's also other ways to non-deposit that will actually get money into the game, not just hurting the game. And those other ways are Entropia Partners. I got the link for that below. They have different ways that you can do surveys and stuff, make money, and it's officially linked to the game. So they'll actually pay you money for doing the surveys, and you can use the money in the game. So that is another way. So you don't actually have to deposit any money, and you'll have actual real money going into the game. So that's where this is a big adults only thing. It actually is really like a form of employment. You can make small amounts of money playing this game. I know people will bitch and say that you can't make any money playing it, but it's not true. It's actually very easy to make money in this game. I can list like 50 ways, and all of them are foolproof and easy to do. What happens is people focus on the negative ways. Like, there is shitloads of ways you can lose money, but you shouldn't disacknowledge that there is ways to make money just because there's so many ways to lose it. It's like going to a casino and saying you can only lose. It's like, yeah, obviously, most cases you're just going to lose, but it is a chance that you can win. Can't not acknowledge that. Fucking 1 in a million chance, but it's still a chance. Yeah, anyone remember that scene from Dumb and Dumber? He's asking this woman if there's any chance of them having a relationship together. And then she goes, sorry, only 1 in a million. No, she laughed and said, yeah, 1 in a million chance. And then he's like, really? There's a chance? She's like, no, 1 in a million. But he's like, yeah, that is a chance. Yeah, that's what I often do. So people will try to tell me bad news, and I'll just reinterpret it in a way that it's good news. So I'll be like, they'll tell me something, and they're like, man, it's raining outside. It's really bad news. And I'll be like, actually, I want to go mushroom picking. So this rain outside is great. They're like, no, it's bad news. I'm like, no, it's good news. Yeah, that's probably why that guy and me started to conflict so much on Facebook. We're pretty much the same personality type. I'm always arguing with people too. So I can relate to what he's going through. I gotta stop arguing so much. Try to agree more. It just gets annoying when you argue with everything. I have to remember that. Take it to heart. That's normally every time I notice that. Every time I'm really critical of someone, it's because they behave like me. And I see their traits just like me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I hate that person. No, I learned that from Mike Tyson, too. Mike Tyson said that in interviews, that he started to realize that all the fans that he met, not to categorize all people as the same, but most of the fans that he met, he realized he didn't like them because he said that they liked like animals that hurt people really bad, and he said he didn't like people like that. So he's like, right away, it's like if someone liked him, he was like, oh fuck, I don't like this person because they like me. I was like, isn't that fucked up? No, it makes you think about it too. Like a lot of the people that liked Mike Tyson liked him hurting people. So he's like, he didn't like them because they wanted him to hurt people. And he felt bad, I don't know, I guess, about hurting people. So I was like, that was fucked. What a conundrum. Now, I'll try to improve. I'll try not to be so argumentative. Maybe I'll actually send an apology to that guy and say like, hey, I got to stop being such a prick all the time. Try to improve. Now, that's the one thing that reminds me of that saying. I think it's another Chinese proverb that it's better to be flexible and not break than to be too rigid and snap, right? When you think about a plant, if it's blowing in the wind and it's too rigid and the wind comes, it could break it and destroy the plant. But if that plant remains rigid, sort of like a willow branch or an apple tree, so whenever that branch starts to bend in the wind, because it's so bendable and willing to compromise, it's able to survive the windstorm without breaking. So really, that's how I gotta try to look at all my mistakes that I keep making. It's opportunities to become more flexible. Learn from it, try not to break. That's really the key to martial arts, they say too, to find each thing in each martial art that you can use to your advantage. Never take a martial art and throw it in the garbage because you don't like one part of it. There's probably one part of it you can still use. And it can't hurt to have more tools in the toolbox. Unless you have to carry it. It's really heavy. Then it'll really hurt. Alright, so I don't think I need this giant map anymore. Pretty sure we're not going to get lost looking for the planet. I think I see it. I think I correlate this round shape as a planet. Is that a false correlation? No, I gotta stop. No, that one Orion correlation. God, I love that one. That'll be a fun one to debate. So I shouldn't really get too pissy. Alright, so 3, here we go. How much is 3? Now I need the map. Here, I was just going to say I didn't need the map. Yeah, if I had to guess, that is the actual location. Alright, so we got 2 likes. Only one person had time to swing by the chat, but I appreciate it, Chili. Nice to get some conversation. I know a lot of people just listen to the show at work, so I appreciate everyone who watches too. Doesn't have time to chat. I don't hold it against you. No, and anyone who's dyslexic and doesn't read the chat, don't hold it against you either. I can't believe the one guy was arguing that. I was like, man, that's a pretty mean argument. If people can't read your stuff, they're stupid. I was like, holy fuck, I can't believe you just said that. But to each their own. Now, that's why I love as much as Einstein theories I make fun of, the one saying I think is attributed to him, that he said that if you can't explain your theory to a 6-year-old, then you really don't understand your theory. Because a lot of people got all these theories, but if they can't explain it to a 6-year-old without them having to read your book, then yeah, you probably don't actually understand your theory. Because you should be able to summarize it pretty quick. Hey, Digger vibes. Yeah, it's such an early recording show. It kind of does seem like a recording. It's like no one in their right mind would be awake at this hour. Now that's what happens to me when I listen to a lot of podcasts, is I really listen on Android devices, like on my TV or something. So I really won't have a way to type in the chat. So the most I could do is give it a like. I don't know, maybe there is a way on Android. Yeah, there probably is. If you like plug your keyboard into the Android, then you could type a message into YouTube. Now I watch it on the NVIDIA Shield. The NVIDIA Shield is like an older console now. Has been out since I think 2019. But I still love it. Like I got the new upgraded one. Now if I had to say, out of all the consoles I've used, I think NVIDIA Shield is the most I've used since PS3. Because I bought the PS4 twice now, and I've really only played it a few hours. I've never really found a game that was that entertaining. I don't know, I'm more into the older style games. Head-to-head competition games. These open world exploring games. I like it okay for Entropia because it has real money. But open world exploring games, I'm not really too big of a fan of otherwise. I like more a linear path or actual head-to-head battles. Now that's what I think I was agreeing with Pat and Ian when they were talking about on NES Punk Show. That the Zelda games, they were actually really good on two-dimensional, and when they switched to 3D, like, it actually lost a lot of what made the game fun. So they're saying it would almost be neat if they did remake another Zelda and just focus on the 2D. 3D was great to experiment with, but they shouldn't have dropped the 2D altogether. Or maybe they have, I haven't even checked. Yeah, I was actually a big Nintendo person too. The same thing happened to me, except where did I stop buying it? I think I stopped at Nintendo 64, but I did buy the Wii, but same thing, I wasn't playing it enough, so I just resold it. And it was at the time where it was rare, so I actually sold it for more. And I kind of felt bad after for being a reseller, but when the guy came and bought it, he actually said, "Don't feel bad for being a reseller." And he said, "Why?" Or when I asked why, he's like, "Because the only other way I could get this was to wait in line for like weeks or even months." So he's like, "You reselling it actually did provide a service allowing me to buy it." He's like, I wanted to get it for my kids and they couldn't get it without me waiting for line in weeks. And he's like, the only way I could get it was from a reseller. So he's like, if people didn't resell it, he would be screwed. I was like, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense then. I never even realized it like that. I know Pat and Ian like to talk about resellers and label them as evil. I know in some cases people do resell and take it too far, or if they like buy like hundreds of them and screw other people over, but if you're just reselling one or two, I don't think it's that bad. In essence, that's what stores do. Stores are basically resellers for a factory. And it's supply and demand. Without supply and demand, then yeah, we'd all be waiting in line like at a food bank. Now it kind of reminds me of collectibles too. It's like when you buy a collectible, like a comic, store it for years, and then try to resell it. Aren't you a reseller then too? The only difference with video game resellers is they're trying to resell it quicker. They don't save it for like 30 years and then try to resell it. Now I was thinking, dear God, I wish I did that. If I could just go back in time and take all the video games I got when I was a kid as presents and not open any of them. Just keep them sealed in the box and save them. If I would have did that, I could have retired at like 30. Instead, I opened the games and played them. But who knew, right? We always thought that we should buy hockey cards and save those instead. So I saved all the hockey cards and they were worthless. That was so stupid. I can't believe I ever did that. Tricked into investing in hockey cards. That hockey cards really was like investment banking or for kids, where they try to trick kids into gambling and investing in these cards. Turns out the cards are so common that they're worthless. Oh well. Yeah, I haven't really, that's what I was trying to think, like when did I stop playing Mario? Like I played Mario games religiously. I played Mario 1 like a million times, played Mario 2 a million times, Mario 3 a million times, Super Nintendo a million times. I even got up to N64. I played it a million times. And I don't think I ever played the one for Cube. So yeah, must have stopped at, I stopped playing Mario at Nintendo 64. And I can't put my finger on it why I stopped. I was trying to think maybe I liked the older style better. Not even sure. Now I was gonna buy the Nintendo Wii, but to be honest, or Nintendo Switch. But the thing that got me about it is I hate portable systems. Like I only play video games at home. I've never once played a video game outside of my home, and I have no intention of doing it. So to buy a portable console, right off the bat, I'm like, no thank you. I don't feel like investing in a screen. I have a TV. So I know some people are like, oh, just buy the Switch and put it on your TV and never use it portably. I'm like, well, why the fuck would I invest in a product like that? It just seems like a dumb thing to do. Invest in a portable console and then just leave it at home. I think I do that enough with my cell phone already. People always make fun of me and they're like, why do you leave your cell phone at home? Like, basically I bought it as a landline. I don't really care. I don't really carry it with me unless I need it. Most cases I leave the house because I want a break from talking to people. When I come home, I can reach everyone just as easily. Doesn't have to be instant communication. That's one nice thing about having kids, or not having kids. I don't have to worry about my kids getting a hold of me. I just be like, fuck it, leave my cell phone at home. I don't give a shit who's trying to get a hold of me. It could be the fucking president trying to call me. He can wait. Now, I was thinking like to get Switch for the Bomberman game, because I used to love the Bomberman franchise. And then I realized the same thing. I stopped playing Bomberman at Nintendo 64. I liked the Nintendo 64 Bomberman. I thought it was the apex. But they actually went back to the old 2D style. And I didn't really like the 2D style anymore. I prefer 3D Bomberman. I don't know why that is. So I don't know why they stopped going 3D with Bomberman. It's really the weird thing. It seems like the franchises they should have and shouldn't are reversed. I don't know if anyone tried Bomberman 64 or Bomberman Hero, but man, they're really good games. They had like a role-playing game involved in it. It was fucking sick. Had so many unlockables. Yeah, that was one of the first games I played, like Bomberman 64, that had shitloads of unlockables. Like, that was the most unlockables I think I ever seen in a game. And it was really fun to try to unlock them all. Oh, you still kept your Bomberman 64, lucky. You know what I was thinking? I kept a lot of my consoles, but I put it in my fucking workshop. So I'm worried they all got damaged by mold. But one of these days, I'm going to dig to the bottom of my workshop and see how many consoles I actually saved. No, the other day I found my binder. Like, I got sick of like carrying all the cases for my games. So I threw out all the cases and just put all of them in a binder. So I found a binder with like shitloads of Sega Saturn games, shitloads of Dreamcast, shitloads of 3DO. Almost have the entire 3DO collection. But I almost saved just the discs. I didn't save any of the cases or manuals. It's kind of a shame. But I just didn't have the room. Like when I was moving to a small apartment for 9 years, I didn't have room to store a whole fucking shitload of cases. And I didn't want to carry them around. And especially since I wasn't playing them anymore. It seemed pointless. Yeah, so one day I can hardly wait to dig open my garage or workshop and we'll see what consoles I all saved. If I had to guess, I might still have my Saturn. I think I have a couple Dreamcasts. Who knows what other ones? Like, I literally had every console at one point. So I don't even remember selling many of them. The only one I remember selling was my PlayStation 1, and I still regret it. Because my PlayStation 1, it was a lot of fun. I only sold it for $40. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was because PlayStation 2 was so vastly superior that I was like, fuck it. I'm never going to play PlayStation 1 again. I should really just sell it. And then I didn't have to store it. No, I still have my PlayStation 2. And my PlayStation 2 is actually one that my best friend used to own before he died. So I'll probably still keep it. I don't plan on getting rid of it. Nah, I have bad luck with best friends. It's like, I don't know how many times I've had a best friend and they died. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't get best friends anymore. Exit seat. Yeah, if you're ever in the market for a best friend, I'm probably the one to avoid. Or pick out. No, I didn't have anything to do with their deaths. Not that I know of. No, my last best friend, Beamer, he used to play Entropia a lot, and he died just of old age. Well, I think pneumonia. I didn't get the actual details of how he died. Last I talked to him, he had pneumonia really bad. It was actually pneumonia that was lingering for over a year, so he kept trying to get medications to get rid of it, but it kept coming back. Yeah, here it is. In order to carry on a positive action, we must develop here in a positive vision. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I gotta try to be more positive. That's a good message. No, because really, I notice that when I get into like a negative mindset, I actually physically in my stomach feel different as compared to like when you're just laughing and having fun all the time. You actually feel physically better. That's why I was kind of worried about that NBA player when he started like breaking down into tears, blaming all of his problems on police. I'm like, dear God, man, your body is not in a good state right now. Having all that negativity weakened it dramatically, enough to have a career-ending injury. Yeah, so that's why I gotta try to take it as an inspiration. Try not to be too negative. Don't let it consume you to the point of injury. Not that negative emotions can cause physical injury. I think that is probably pseudoscience at this point, but holy shit, we got over 1,000 of these. That's sweet. Right, so we do got enough Miliuka. I should order some Arcan. But what materials, what crafting should I really do? Yeah, let's order some Listerium. Let's get a chunk of Listerium here. We'll wrap up the show with ordering some Listerium, and next episode, we're going to do a crafting run once it arrives. I don't think there's any cheap Listerium here. I'll check the auction just to... Oh no, it's definitely not cheap. 108% is pretty expensive. Well, we'll check. I'm pretty sure Calypso's way less. Oh yeah, 102. Yeah, make sure I get the ingot though. The fucking stone's a bitch, because then you have to refine it all. Although I do have a big refiner. 900 ped of Listerium. Should we go for some batshit crazy Listerium run? Nah. No, technically it would make sense to buy a shitload, but I'm pretty sure the auction fee would be through the roof. They would charge me like 30 ped or something. Be like, fuck that, man. I don't get why they fuck people over with the auction fees so bad. Well, I get it that they need money to keep the game going, but if the auction thrived, the whole game economy would thrive. So it doesn't make sense to fucking hinder the entire fucking economy just to make a bit of money off the auction. Alright, so 400 at 102%. That's a little bit more reasonable. We'll see, did anyone undercut him? Fuck, man. Wish the stone. Alright, let's... Fuck, man. Should we order 500 bucks worth at 103? I don't know. I'm tempted not to do it. Hey, Snooker. No, I'm tempted to... No, I'm tempted, what was it? Tempted to... No, I got sidetracked here, sorry. Oh, that's fucking stone. I was just about to buy that, and then I realized it was stone. I don't know, fuck, man. I'm worried how much the auction fee to send this is going to be. If anyone has a suggestion, like, you know, you can send suggestions to Entropia. When you do this auction buying, you see where it says, like, you can buy it? Here it is, ingot. 600, 630. Man, it's tempting. I could just buy that one. It's slightly cheaper. Anyways. Oh, it does. Thank God. I was saying they should add it here and tell you how much it is going to be to ship it. Not where you're like, oh, fuck, should I buy it or not? Because there's going to be a huge fucking auction fee. All right, so that one's a transport cost of 7. Let's check out what the other transport cost is. Yeah, see, they bumped it all the way up to 10. So it's like, what the fuck, man? Why do they bump up the transport cost just because you bought bigger supplies? It's fucking bullshit. Should be a standard fee, like 2 to ship it, 30 for express. Why they have a fluctuating regular fee? It's fucking annoying. But at least they're telling you what it is. It was really annoying when they wouldn't even tell you. Alright, so what's the auction fee on this one? $6.60. What's the auction fee or transport fee on this one? $7. So it's like an extra 50 pec to ship an extra 36 TT value. God, that's fucking annoying, right? Oh well, I guess we'll go for the 600. Ing it. And yeah, we'll try to just keep it here because, man, we're going to need some more in the future. Let's be real. The odds of me not needing more Listerium is like 1 in a million. There's a chance, but not much. Yeah, I better check. Make sure that transport cost didn't change. All right, let's see if we can hold them to it. They said it was going to be a 7 transport fee. See if that's what it really works out to. Yeah, this will be bad because it'll push us back under 4,000. But who knows? We'll see what happens with this crafting run. We're probably going to lose bad, but we'll see. We did have a streak of a couple wins, so maybe we can put a couple wins together again. It'd be nice. Alright, so it is 7. That's not so bad. Now, some people are asking, like, is it worth it to get your materials shipped on a mothership? Well, technically, your stuff can still be looted on a mothership, so it's risky. Like, mines can hit the mothership, destroy the ship. So, and if you use that trick where you log off, that's actually voiding the terms of service. So you can actually get fined or banned from the game for doing it. So technically, that's why I just go with the regular delivery fee of 7. I don't know how true that is, that logging off and logging on while you're traveling in the mothership is bannable offense, but that's what I've heard. Alright, so we got a shitload of crafting supplies on the way. That's pretty cool. Now, to be fair, I really shouldn't have spent that much because I wanted to get different materials too. So that was kind of stupid, but I guess we'll have to be focusing on Listerium for a while. Is this the teleporter? No. It kind of looks like the teleporter, right? Like, I feel like I could just jump in here and teleport. Holy shit, 3 viewers and 3 likes. Thanks, everyone. Better check, make sure we didn't get any super chats. No, thank God. Now, it's my new paranoia with super chats. I'll get super chats and forget to read them. I wake up at night in horror. Yeah, let's see if I left anything in auction here. I can't remember if I did. No. No, I did not. Man, there's a lot of players here, eh? I was going to say for next island, and dear God, like some teleporter in the middle of nowhere. There's a bunch of people here. Yeah, if anyone from Entropia is wondering, I do got a travel vlog coming out today, maybe tomorrow, depending how long the editing takes. It was a really boring one, just testing out equipment, so I might just publish it for the hell of doing it. See how the editing goes. Alright, let's go to Crystal Peak. Crystal Peak is the main spot, if anyone's wondering. It's sort of like Twin Peaks. You can see they got some shops here. There's a sweating place at the bottom there. There's a teleporter you can take down. Like a, what do they call it, televator. Oh yeah, and if we can get this video up to 100 views, then, oh wait, no, never mind. I was going to say if it reaches 100 views, it qualifies for the Next Island Armor contest, the Ascension Armor. But then I forgot it has to be edited. And my video style is edited freestyle. Like I do edit, but live. So I don't know if that counts as editing. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Oh yeah, and they said your video has to have an objective. So I guess I could make mine objective using the auction. Using the auction to import the Styrium. And flying to Next Island. I really doubt we'll reach 100 views, because most cases we top out in between 30 and 80. So, but it'd be neat if we actually reached 100. Yeah, so if anyone's looking for some shop selections, hey, this guy's got Listerium for 108. That's actually not too bad of a price. If you encounter how much I paid for all that shipping, it might actually be cheaper to buy it from him. Holy shit, the Soph 13 pets are worth 2,000? Is that really true? Yeah, Mankini price has crashed so low that even shops are selling it for +2. That's real low. Yeah, I was thinking in the future, that'd be good. If all these shopkeepers had all the different clothes that you could win from these crafting missions. That'd be sweet. Now I can also do a mining mission, so I'm not sure at next episode what we'll do. If anyone can put it in the chat. If you want to see a mining episode, if you want to see a crafting episode, maybe a hybrid of both. They do say when you're making videos, you can't just chase globals. So yeah, at least this video we didn't chase any globals, that's for sure. Yeah, I should check and see if I got any globals we can chase. Speaking of, I don't think I have any materials here for crafting, but we might. Oh, we got 60 attempts of Sandrunner fuel cells. Anyone want to see a click or two? Yeah, let's do a click or two. You can see I got the quality rating for both of these prints at 100%, which increases the odds of how many good loot returns I get. It's supposed to boost how many prints you get back. So my one friend Beamer would say. Hey, Ada Kiri. He's asking what is the name of this game. So before we start crafting, let's go with the viewer's question and answer it. I'll bring up the Entropia's website so you can see how to fucking download the game, what it's called. It's a free game, technically. For God's sakes, did I not put the fucking thing in here again? I think I didn't. Piece of shit. Now, what I tried to do is put the game in the favorites, and I forgot. Now, I noticed there's a new heavy metal band or something. They called themselves Entropia. So there is different things called Entropia. Here we go. Let me add this to the favorites so that never happens again. Fucking sick of it. I go to log into Entropia to show people Entropia, and my favorites list doesn't even have Entropia. That's gotta be the dumbest thing ever. Dumb. My specialty. Just kidding. Alright. Here we go. Entropia. I'll increase the zoom a bit for anyone who needs to make it bigger. It's a problem I run into all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, that's what she said. Oh. Entropia universe. So yeah, so here it is. This is where you can join, download it. You can like and share it on Facebook. I have a Facebook group for Entropia too. It's also called Knowing Entropia if you want to join that. I should really emphasize that more often. Yeah, they got a web store, so you can buy stuff on store, or you can just buy stuff in the game. You can deposit real money into the game if you want to beat it faster, or you can just play for free and beat it. So yeah, well, beat it or progress in it, however you want to talk. It's a never-ending game, so technically you can't beat it. You can get higher levels for free. Yeah, so these are some of the starter packs that you can get. But to be honest, I don't really recommend any of this shit. Like, I didn't buy any of this stuff. Even the strong boxes, I think they're a huge ripoff. I know some people have super good luck with them and they win shitloads of money. But like 99% of people, they just all lose. So it's kind of like the loot box thing. So I try to steer clear of them. But if you're rich and it doesn't matter and you can just spend money like crazy, yeah, sure, why not? Fuck, if I was rich, I'd be buying these like crazy. Alright, so yeah, you can buy money in the game. So this is how much the currency costs to buy. 100 is 95. Or 10 bucks buys you 95. So that must be with the transaction fee or something. Because when you withdraw it, 100 is worth 10. So I don't know why that ratio isn't the same here. That is a little weird. Yeah, and there's a couple other Entropia websites, but those are good for now. I think you can find the game from there, right? What was it called? EntropiaUniverse.com. No, it gets lots of bad reviews, and it gets a few good reviews. Why? Because it's the fucking hardest game in the world. So most people that play it, they just get their asses kicked, lose a lot of money, and bitch about it. But there are people that win. And you can even win without depositing. So if you hear people saying that it takes all your money, they're just sore losers because they deposited and tried to win faster. And failed. Now, the main reason it's so hard, every time you go hunting, they usually give you less loot than you paid in ammo. So an only way you can make money is to sell your rewards that you looted and try to get more money from other players. So that's how you get money from increasing. You can buy and sell. You can collect the free items. You can pick up rocks, sweat, a whole bunch of other stuff on the ground. All right, let's do a little bit more crafting. I'm almost tempted to do a mining run, but dear God, I can't keep playing for hours. I'm already starting to lose my voice, and I got one more show to record today. Oh yeah, I better close this too in case we get comments from the chat. Let's close that. There we go. Yeah, no problem, Ada. No, I kind of appreciate Entropia for how difficult of a game it is too. Because most games you play these days, they're so easy. So to actually play a game that's really hard, it's like rare, right? Like in this crafting run, the odds of me profiting is almost 1 in a million. So people are saying you lose money crafting in the game. Oh yeah, you're definitely going to lose most times. If you look back in my archive doing this crafting, one time I crafted this print and it gave me a global that I think was around 80. So instead of 0.18, it gave me a full 80. So you can see why sometimes it does work really good and sometimes it's just not very good at all. You're going to lose most times. That's why most people that are smart, they only craft a little bit. They'll be like, oh, one day I'll spend a little bit on crafting. So it's sort of like buying lottery tickets. Sure, you don't want to spend all your money buying lottery tickets because the chances you're going to win is 1 in a million. But at the same time, it is nice to have a lottery ticket just in case you do win, right? So really, to have a chance, you have to buy the ticket. But you don't want to go crazy buying shitloads of tickets and never winning. So I did get 80 on that. We're not 80.8. So that was pretty good for this. Now on how this crafting bar works, you can put it higher success or more money. So it's sort of like placing a higher bet in a casino. But the only weird thing about this, it doesn't cost any more to put it here. It's just that you'll lose money more often because you didn't success. Alright, that's enough failures for now. Dear God, that was a lot of failures. Let's try between the T's. It's my favorite position. I know some people think it's greedy to go right between the T's first, but hey, at least we went to the end of the bar first and then worked our way there. Ooh, that was a pretty good success. Yeah, I don't know, like some people debate that it used to be easier to make money for free before and it's harder now. The only debate I would say for that, in most cases with the loot system, obviously it is, but other ways they changed it to make it easier was by adding the deeds. Because really, like here, let me stop this. What I can do is either buy Calypso land deeds, Arcadia land deeds, whatever land deeds you want to buy. The only ones I have right now, sadly, are these ones. I bought Ancient Greece deeds and Crystal Palace Station deeds. So really, all I have to do is buy these and I'll have money just pouring in. So I was like, dear God, in the old days, like in the old game, before the deeds came out, you literally had to be active in the game to make money. But now they've made it completely inactive. Like I don't even have to do anything. I can just log in once a week and collect the money. So it's literally never been easier. In some ways it is harder though, because if you're hunting, yeah, hunting loot used to be harder or easier. They used to give better loot. But I think when these deeds started, obviously they had to split some of that loot with the deed holders. So that's why it's definitely lower now. But you can still get the money back, you just have to buy deeds. It's kind of fucked up system, but yeah, that's how it works. To some degree, in my opinion. Now I'll have to try to focus on saying that more. Stop sounding like a know-it-all. In my opinion, this is what it is. Ugh. Now I was trying the microphone, if anyone's tried it before, for a little quick camera review, if you're getting into vlogging. I picked up the FOMA 2. Because the FOMA 1 definitely kept having issues, so I was like, something more stable. So I got the FOMA Palm 2. You can tell it really is a palm-sized camera. Like, fuck, man, it's even like half the size of my hand. So yeah, you really can just like put it in your pocket in this like tiny little case. It's got a gimbal on it. It's got a microphone port in the back, so you can put all your lapel mic. And it's got the tripod hookup on the bottom. And it's got USB-C, so it's faster file transfers and charging. And it's like $200 or whatever, so it's like way cheaper than the other gimbal cameras, especially from GoPro. So anyways, but there is issues with it. When I went to go use the microphone, or not microphone, just recording on the regular mic, there's audio sync issues. So the audio and video are out of sync. I'm like, fuck, man, that really sucks. When I buy a camera, I expect the audio and video to be in sync. So I hope they fix that. They said that there should be a patch coming soon that'll fix it. But I was like, fuck, man, that's a pretty serious flaw to like launch a camera that doesn't have fucking sync working yet. But everything else I love about it. So I figure what I'm going to do is try the lapel mic and see if that fixes some of the sync issues. And some other people said the best way to fix the sync issue is just not to hit record right away. They said when you turn on the camera, let it boot for like 30 seconds and then hit record. Which kind of sucks, because normally when you're using a camera, you turn it on, you want to use it right away, right? That's like the fastest, the best camera is the camera that turns on the fastest. Finishing quick can be good sometimes. Not always. Yeah, so if anyone's wondering, I'm going to be doing some more experiments with this camera. We'll see if we can get the audio sync problems fixed. That'll be nice. And to be honest, I didn't really like vlogging with it holding it. Like I was like, could I just hold it? So I think I will actually need a selfie stick. holding it was just too close. It looked like zoomed in right on my face, which was too much. Need more of the background. It is ultra wide though. You got to give it credit. They have it nice and wide right out of the box. Don't have to buy, well, you can buy extra wide, but you don't really need it. Alright, so we didn't really get much. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, I can still check the stats. That's good. So we got 7 back. That was really bad. And no blueprints. So that was an epically bad crafting run. Shit. Oh well, at least it was a really small one. Yeah, so if you want to see how Next Island is, you can come here, lose some money crafting, and still have fun. We'll make this video positive. Alright, I'm totally losing my voice, so I need to shut this down. So let's give it a check. Hey, it's this chick again. Or is it a different one? There's usually always some chicks around here with really nice clothes.
Hello.
Alright, so we weren't that antisocial. We talked to other players in the game. Or at least said hi to them. Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to improve the loot. If I had to guess, probably not. But we'll see. You never know. One day PewDiePie could join the game. If he ever joined the game and started pumping large money in, then they could probably increase the loot. But until that. So if anyone knows PewDiePie, try to recommend Entropia. Come on, Pewdie. You want to play it. No, if Entropia saw PewDiePie starting to play, they would probably shit their pants, right? Who are we kidding? Anyways, so let's go to the patrons list. Let's give a shout out to them. All right, thanks Suki, Jim, Ray, Travis, and all the other patrons that are considering. We got plans starting at just $1 a month. And the patrons get a whole bunch of extra goodies, including their names in the patron song, to be released one day, unless I die before the song comes out. Then it won't come out. But if as long as I can stay alive, the song will come. Alright, so let's see here. What else do we want to do? Yeah, the affiliate links. So yeah, if you want to help out with Patreon, got that. Society 6, finishing quick is my specialty. Say it comes on t-shirts and bed sheets, both popular with the ladies. Hideout TV, pays you to watch videos. Swag Bucks, will pay you to shop online. And free Bitcoin, or no, free game, GameKit. It's a place that'll pay you to play games. And free Bitcoin. It's the one that'll pay you to open loot boxes and put it in your cryptocurrency wallets. So they're a cryptocurrency wallet system. And they also have casino features. So just make sure for all of these offers, including the free Bitcoin and BetFury, that you're within age and you follow all your regional laws. And also for the virtual mate sex machine. It's for adults and men only. But if ladies need a sex machine, they know who to call. I'm just kidding. Alright, so yeah, the virtual mate kickstarted, crowdfunded, shipped, and they did ship me one. All I had to do was give them money. No, it gets mixed reviews, so just don't return it if you use it. I think that's pretty gross. Alright, so let's go on to the fire screen. Oh no, we didn't even get my sponsor message. My sponsor will be pissed if I don't do the message, so let's get it in now.
Today's late sponsor message is brought to you by Crack. It'll fuck you up. Woo!
Alright, welcome back everyone. Alright, so we went over the sponsor message. Oh yeah, let's go to the fire screen. No, and thanks to everyone in the chat. That's what I came to this screen for. Not because I fucked up. No, we got Lelanders' kid Shelly. So no, Shelly is not my kid, but she is a kid who plays, or she joined my guild, Lelanders Guild. So thanks for joining in, or joining the chat, Shelly. Appreciate it. Alright, who else do we got? Digger do vibes. Digger, thanks again for joining the chat. Holy shit, Digger's got lots of Nintendo comments here. Yeah, lingering pneumonia is a bad one. My uncle's had it for over a year too, so I'm always worried about him. Yeah, hopefully he can manage. Alright, so let's see. Snooker PM, PGM. Yeah, thanks Snooker for joining the chat. And oh yeah, Ida Kiri. So thanks Miss Kiri or Mr. Thanks a lot for joining the chat. I know, for some reason Kiri sounds like a woman's name, but I could be wrong about that. Alright. Kiri, Ada, Snooker. Alright, so yeah, thanks again everyone for joining in the chat. And sorry if I misgendered everyone. Now I know misgendering these days is a very serious issue, so we'll have to take it serious. No, let's go back to the fire screen. Alright, let's see what items we got in the item bag for today in Entropia. Let's go. I gotta find a storage terminal. No, let's go with this shop. See if this shop's got an item for the item bag. Oh, this is a shirt shop. I don't like this one. Ah, here we are. This shop has got some wool. If you happen to get any wool for sale, or in your vaporizer, and it tastes like shit, give the show a dislike. But if it doesn't happen, you can give the show a like. Really appreciate it. And just make sure you never buy the products from my sponsor.
Because it will ruin your life.
Bye for now, everyone. See you later. Take care. Yeah, good luck in Entropia. If you're just starting the game, try not to get ahead of yourself. You can have fun free for a long time before you actually need to deposit. And yeah, some people never deposit, so you never know. And don't forget to check out Entropia Partners. I got that link below too. That's a great way to make some money and get it into Entropia without ever depositing. Oh yeah, and also got Raven Jade's links below. She does some really cool videos about Entropia also. Haven't given her a shout out in a few episodes, so I got her in the links below also. Yep, so I think that's good for today for Entropia. Thanks again everyone for tuning in, and let's wrap it up. See you later. Bye for now. I hate that auto cheer. Yeah, thanks Snooker. Have a good day.